This is Steve Adubato. We welcome, once again, we've had a series of discussions, but the business environment continues to change in the state of New Jersey. We welcome once again Michele Siekerka, President and CEO of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Michele, good to see you again.
Pleasure.
Let's talk about a range of things. By the way, why is it so expensive to live in and do business in New Jersey in 2017? Why?
There are many things that drive the cost of living and affordability in the state of New Jersey. So for New Jersey business, in general, there are a lot of regulations that drive your bottom line, that cause you maybe to have to push a lot of paper in the back office. And all those regulations and all that paper you're pushing, everything has a dollar attached to it. And I hear from my businesses every day. I just came from speaking at an event this morning. And the number one issue around the table, cost of doing business. And I said, give me examples. Sure. And a lot of it is regulations that drive. For New Jersey residents, property taxes. Property taxes. And candidly, for business, property taxes. New Jersey millennials, property taxes drives rent. Millennials can't afford to live here.
Let's talk about the millennials. You've really pushed this issue.
Yes.
Because you're worried about us losing these millennials. Why? I mean, what's the difference between a millennial and someone who's 40 or 50 or beyond? Like, what's the difference?
Well, they're our future workforce. NJBIA, we represent 20,000 businesses across the state of New Jersey. That's over 1.1 million jobs. We have to grow jobs in the state of New Jersey. If we don't have a workforce to draw from, how do we create new jobs?
What are they into? What do you believe most, because I don't want to generalize here, what do you think most millennials are interested in terms of quality of life and business opportunities, employment opportunities, that may be different than, say, 15, 20 years ago?
So the types of communities that they're looking to live, work, and play, really they want to find that all in one place. So the whole idea of more urbanism, they want to be able to take mass transit. So look, they can't afford to buy cars, and they don't want to own cars.
What do you mean they don't want to own cars?
They don't.
Doesn't everybody want a car and an expensive monthly payment?
No, and in New Jersey, then you add the car insurance on top of it, and you're doubly challenged. But no, think about this for a minute. Millennials, their whole makeup is very different in terms of commitment. Think of that word commitment for a moment, okay? They're not buying homes like decades ago when you were in your 20s and you were saying home ownership. No. They want to rent. They like diversity. They want to try things out, and they're very mobile, right? So they move quickly in their jobs. They stay in jobs for a few years. They look for the next opportunity. So they don't commit to things. They don't commit to homes and communities because they want to try different things. They're marrying later, so they don't commit to relationships like they did before. In jobs, they're moving their jobs a lot. So they want to be in environments that have a lot of mobility to it.
So how about this? It's interesting. It's one thing about what employers, because we did a seminar a while back, a leadership seminar with you and your colleagues, and I was pleased to do it. And we talked about some of these issues with millennials, but that's one thing about what businesses can do. We'll talk about that. But there's going to be a new governor in January of 2018.
Yes.
What do you recommend that state government do in terms of public policy around this, or is that not a governmental issue?
So there's two pieces. Number one, I want to talk about process. The new incoming governor needs to bring New Jersey back to a process that delivers the opportunity for good policy to be made in the state. So what do I mean? What do I mean by that, right? Right now we have a process that is really lacking input by stakeholders. And we do policy a little more in a vacuum, we've seen. What we need is a process where everybody is engaged, where we come back. You know the value of diversity of opinion around a table, right? And what that yields when you listen and you compromise and you talk in more comprehensive manner about things and you understand what people need. So when you have a good process, you always yield a fair result. Not a result that everybody maybe loves, right? But it's fair because everybody inputs to the process.
So devil's advocate, why wouldn't we want more decisive, clear, definitive leadership where people move faster and we don't have all these discussions and analysis, paralysis by analysis, You
can have both. You can have both. Absolutely, because you make sure that the process you put in place is one that is effective, all right? And you don't allow to analyze forever. You call the question. When I facilitate a meeting with people around the table, I get everybody's input. I tell them how much time they have to put it in. We have some good dynamic discussion, and guess what? Call the question. Nike, just do it, move on.
And you believe that state government in 2018 needs to move more in that direction?
I would like to see our government process be more open and more like the things I studied as a young lawyer in terms of how government works.
So for businesses, and by the way, describe the businesses that are the members of the Business and Industry Association.
Yeah, so we have every type of business and every type of industry. I always love to say from the corner pizzeria to the 1,000-employee call center to the biggest utility in the state of New Jersey. And that's tremendous in that diversity. And that 20,000 member gives us a great, strong voice to represent business in the state of New Jersey. But embedded in that and all that diversity also can be challenged sometimes in terms of the positions that we can take, because the interest of the small pizzeria is very different than the 1,000-employee call center, is very different than the largest utility in the state.
We had a forum with a variety of the 4 legislative leaders. One of the things we do with the Business and Industry Association every year is we have a forum with the 4 legislative leaders. We don't know if they're going to be the same in 2018, but the 4 legislative leaders, the 2 Democratic leaders and 2 Republican leaders, that may change. We don't know what party will be in control in 2018. But one of the big issues we talked about when I was moderating at that forum was around the estate tax.
Yes.
The changes that people were looking to make in it. Tell everyone again what the estate tax is and why it's a huge issue.
Yeah, it was a huge issue that BIA very proudly advocated to address, and we got it addressed as part of comprehensive tax reform that we did last November. So the estate tax, we were an extreme outlier in the state of New Jersey. Only one of 2 states in the nation that had both estate tax and inheritance tax, and our threshold was the lowest in the nation.
Explain to folks, so you die in the state of New Jersey, and?
Well, if it was
Or
last
what
year,
was.
yeah, if it was last year, if you died in 2016, if you had a state that was worth more than $675,000, that's when we started taxing you. And in the state of New Jersey, you own a home and have a 401k, you've probably triggered that. If you die in New Jersey in 2017, that threshold is now up to $2 million. So your first $2 million, you don't get taxed, right? But come January 1 of 2018, no more estate tax in the state of New Jersey. 0 gone.
What do you think that actually means from a practical point of view? Because the argument that was being made, and by the way, not everyone was for what BIA was for.
Understood.
A lot of folks were not for it. But the reality is, I'm not going to make your argument and the arguments of those who were for it, but that we were losing a lot of people with resources and moving to other states because they were going to say, listen, I'm going to die in another state because I'm not going to give it all away.
Correct.
To the government, right?
Correct.
I know I'm oversimplifying it, but.
Oh, no, we heard that every day. And when business people would tell me that, and I would go have that discussion with policymakers, they would tell me that the information I was bringing was anecdotal. So we went and studied it, and then we brought back the data that said over the last 11 years, New Jersey lost $21 billion in net adjusted gross income out of the state of New Jersey. Number 1 out-migration state, Pennsylvania. Number 2 out-migration state, New York. That means we're lacking regional competitiveness with our 2 border states. Now, estate tax, we had to go to full elimination because Pennsylvania doesn't have an estate tax. So going to the federal level still would not have made us competitive with Pennsylvania. So that's why we had to eliminate estate tax. And it's a game changer. If you ask my colleagues at the CPA Society, they'll tell you that now when they are advising their clients on their tax planning, now they're saying you don't have to run out of the state of New Jersey. You can stay here. You can die in New Jersey.
You can die safely in New Jersey. Final question. It is risky to do this in late May 2017 as we tape this. The impact of the Trump administration on business in New Jersey is?
So it's very dynamic right now at the federal level. We know that. We were riding the Trump bump on the stock market, and businesses were feeling, very bullish on the economy. We saw that. I think everyone's a little tempered right now because of how dynamic the situation is. But I will say this, regardless of what happens at the federal level, New Jersey is still a very blue state. So New Jersey is going to react in a way to ensure that we continue to be a leader in certain policies, regardless of what happens at the federal level. That may mean that if there's really good tax reform up at the federal level that we could benefit from in New Jersey, some may say, we don't agree with that, and we're going to do more than the federal government. That tends to happen. So something may go away. In New Jersey, we'll see it come back.
Michele Siekerka is the President and Chief Executive Officer of New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Thank you, Michele.
Thanks, Steve.
We'll be right back after this.